Let us know what you think.
With John Stettler. John,
Good morning, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing okay this morning. I had a little head cold, but I'm on the mend now, so don't worry. I'm on the mend.
Those little nuisances do happen.
That's right. Little nuisances, like we talked about, mental health care issues, that's a big nuisance.
Yeah.
A big issue in our society, and as we talked about with the realignment dollars, they're not always there. But you probably have the same problem with ATCO with the issue with children and dealing with court-appointed special advocates. They're not always there.
They're not always there. The children that we deal with, that often are the children that have suffered child abuse in one form or another, and they would be helped by having our volunteers be able to work with them and spend some time with them and help them through their healing and maturation process. And if they're not there, the kids don't get the help. And it's all about the kids, right. Richard.
And April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And that child abuse can come in many forms. We heard a report at the Board of Supervisors not too long ago. Sexual abuse is there, but predominantly the biggest are neglect and physical abuse, aren't they?
And emotional abuse.
And emotional.
So
yelling, screaming at kids.
All that. It could be any of those kinds of things. And it's an issue that continues to happen. It happens across all socioeconomic strata. It favors no one, and it leaves no one immune from it either. So it's a community problem. It continues, and the more that we can make the community aware that there are resources available to give families help before it's too late, the better off the children are going to be.
But we also have to make people aware that they can be a part of the solution on this.
And that's
by being part of the CASA program.
Well, you're good. That's what the court-appointed special advocate says is part of the solution. In those cases where it's already occurred and the children are in need, we're part of the solution to help them through their process.
Now, what if somebody says, John, I can't do this. I don't know anything about helping children, and I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist.
What we tell them is to come in and take a training session with us, sit through it, see what it's all about. We'll teach you everything that you need to know to be a volunteer, and then you decide if this is for you. Don't make that decision until you have the information. And we'll help you get that information, and we'll let you choose whether or not you think it's something for you. And if you decide not, better to find out now than later.
Do some people, they go through all the training and they get involved with it, and it's just too emotional, or for one reason or another, they cannot do it in the end?
Yeah, some people decide that this is not their thing. They don't like the idea of having to go to court. They don't like the idea of the trauma that the children have been through. They're not sure that they've got enough time, that their families come first, and they're not sure that they'll be able to devote the kind of time they believe the children deserve. They could do it, but they're not sure they could do it to their measure of excellence, and we appreciate them making that decision.
Well, and people can always be involved in whatever level they choose at, but are you short on court-appointed special advocates now?
We're always in need of CASA volunteers. It's an evolutionary thing. People get involved, they spend a lot of time, they spend a lot of energy, but their life changes. We've got people, health issues change, job issues change, family issues change, interests change. It's just a part of life, unfortunately, that we go through all these changes all the time.
They tell, at least the popular saying is doctors don't get too close to your patients. Do you have to really advise people on don't get too close to the kids here, because the kids move on?
As you well know, when you get passionate about something, it can become all-consuming. And we always are cautious about that and cautioning the volunteers. There is a limit to what you can do and how much energy and time you can spend. And don't overdo it. It's not good for you, and it's not good for the kids either.
And sometimes you have to just let it go and not dwell on it so much, I guess.
If you want something to happen that you really think is important, you want it now. And now doesn't always happen in the instant that you would like. Things take time.
Especially when you're dealing with court.
That's one of the places. And
Court and Child Protective Services, I guess. Right?
And people. when you see something that somebody should be trying to do to better their situation, and they don't do it as quickly as you think they can do it, you get frustrated because you want them to see the success. And so it can be people, it can be process, it can be anything. But if you get impassioned and you really want that to happen, sometimes you have to back off and give people space and give the system space to get done at their pace.
What is your number for court-appointed special advocates at ADCA?
223-1485.
And what is the process? People have to go through how many hour training program?
We got a 30-hour training program. They go through background checks. Anybody working with children anymore is going through an extensive background check. All you have to do, though, is come in and give me a chance to sit down and talk with you.
Okay. Give me the number one more time, 223-1485. Okay. John, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, Richard.
And we are going to go to a break, and we'll be right back with TSPN.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.